Today, we're going to talk about a secret weapon. A weapon so powerful it completely baffled the most advanced technology of its time. But here's the twist. This weapon wasn't a bomb, or a tank, or anything like that. It was language. So, picture this. It's World War II. The enemy has these incredible machines, right? And they're designed to do one thing: crack codes. Any code. It seems like an impossible problem. So really, how do you defeat a machine that's built to break literally any code you throw at it?
Well, the answer is just, it's beautiful. It's so unexpected. You don't fight a machine with a better machine. You beat it with a poem.
So to really get how a poem could be that powerful, we need to understand the stakes. We're talking about a time of global conflict, and at the heart of it was this one huge, unbreakable puzzle.
You know, back then, communication was absolutely everything. But they had this massive problem. Codes were being cracked all the time, left and right, and a single intercepted message could mean disaster. So having a secure way to talk wasn't just a nice to have, it was literally the difference between winning and losing the war.
And the solution, the real game changer, came from a place nobody was looking. It came from the complex, unwritten, and beautiful Navajo language, spoken by the legendary Navajo code talkers.
But here's the thing. It wasn't just that the Navajo language was rare that made the code so tough. No, there was a secret ingredient, a layer of pure human ingenuity that turned it from a code into a work of art.
And that secret ingredient? It was metaphor. Yeah, I know, it sounds like something straight out of English class, and it is. It's just that idea of connecting two different things to create a new meaning. But for the code talkers, this wasn't just poetry. This was an unbreakable encryption tool. Let's look at how it actually worked, because this is where it gets really cool. To say submarine, they didn't spell it out. They just said Beslo. In Navajo, that means iron fish. And you immediately get it, right? You can just picture this metal fish moving silently under the water. Or check this one out. A dive bomber? That became Jizini, which is the Navajo word for chicken hawk. And what's so brilliant about this is that it doesn't just name the thing, it describes its action, the way it circles up high and then just swoops down on its target. It's perfect. And the same idea for a torpedo plane. They called it tashizi, which means swallow. And again, just think about that image. A bird that flies super fast and skims right over the surface of the water. It's elegant, it's precise, and it's totally unguessable if you're not in on the secret.
So what we have here is this incredible showdown. On one side, you've got the cold, hard logic of machines, and on the other, the flexible, creative power of human metaphor. It's machines versus metaphors.
This table really breaks it all down. Machine ciphers are all about math. They're literal. You swap one letter for another, A for Z, whatever. It's based on predictable patterns. But the Navajo code, it was the total opposite. It was linguistic, it was poetic. It wasn't swapping letters, it was swapping whole ideas. It wasn't about patterns, it was about making these huge conceptual leaps.
Think about it from the enemy's perspective. Their code breakers in the machines they built were trained for one thing and one thing only: to find mathematical patterns. They looked for repeated letters, frequency, one-to-one substitutions. Their whole world was based on that kind of predictable logic. Which leads to the one question they just couldn't answer. How is a machine, a thing that runs on pure logic, supposed to understand a poetic idea? How does it make that leap from iron fish to submarine? The short answer? It can't. It's just not what it's built to do.
So what this really means is that the code talkers weren't just making another code. They invented a whole new kind of code. A code that was literally made of poetry.
I love this quote. It just sums it all up perfectly. The code was poetry. It described the nature of the weapon, not just its name. See, it wasn't just a simple substitution. It was a whole different way of looking at the world, of describing things. And that, right there, is what made it so powerful.
And if that wasn't already genius enough, they added another layer. It was a code within a code. You have the metaphors we've been talking about, but all of that was wrapped up inside the incredibly complex grammar and sounds of the Navajo language itself, which was already a total mystery to outsiders. 2 layers of unbreakable encryption.
And this gave them a huge advantage on the battlefield: speed. While some poor guy was slowly clicking away trying to encode battleship one letter at a time on a machine, a code talker could just say "lotso," the Navajo word for whale, and the message was sent. It took seconds. It was secure, and it was unbelievably fast.
And the end result of all this creativity, this fusion of culture and language and poetry, The code was never, ever broken. Seriously, not a single time. To this day, it's the only major military code in modern history that was never deciphered.
And that leaves us with something to think about. This story is more than just amazing history. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our world, a world that is so run by data, by logic, by algorithms, what's the power in thinking poetically? What kinds of problems could we solve if we relied less on pure calculation and more on those creative, conceptual leaps? Something to chew on. Thanks for watching.